Part 85. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 845. After traveling on the sea for more than a day, the command ship Qinji was riding finally entered the waters of Chongying. Just like Dong Huang, Chongying quickly sent someone out to greet him, and as the envoy, it was Shentong and Kaosheng who had met him once before. Welcome Commander Qinji to Chongying. Regarding the last assistance, on behalf of everyone in Chongying, I would like to express my gratitude for your helping hand in an emergency. The posture of the supernatural power is very low, and the status given to Qinji is also very high. Not only because Qinji had given Chongying a helping hand before, but more importantly because of the strength that Qinji represented now. Looking at the ship girls surrounding Qinji, Shentong could keenly sense the difference between Musashi and others. Especially a few months ago, she fought side by side with Shinano, but now the aura exuding from Shinano made her feel suppressed. Thank you for your welcome to Avatar. The last assistance was what I should have done. As the commander of Azalane, it is my duty to fight against the sirens and maintain the continuation of human civilization. Although I am not the commander of Sakura, Chongying is also a part of Azalane, so there is no need to express gratitude or anything, Qinji said with a smile. Commander Qinji's high integrity is really admirable. Since you have said so, I will not say these polite words. Everyone in Chongying attaches great importance to your arrival. While sending me to welcome you, Lord Nagato has also prepared a dinner, hoping to welcome Commander Qinji and your ship, ladies, Shentong said. That's really troublesome for you, Qinji nodded. At this time, two figures appeared at the boarding port. Everyone turned to look, and it was Akagi and Kaga. As soon as Akagi saw Shentong Takao, he nodded. How is Sakura now? Sir Akagi, although Commander Qinji's full assistance was given to the last tide on the fortress, the losses were still relatively large, and we are currently in the reconstruction stage. The strategy we are currently implementing is relatively conservative, and we have to collect information for the time being, and wait until confirmation after the situation. We will see if we should attack the surrounding sea area, Shentong replied. Is this an order from Nagato-sama, or an order from those incompetent juniors? Akagi smiled and looked at the magical power. It is the result of the discussion between Lord Ziwikaku and Lord Nagato, Shentong said truthfully. However, this is also the safest method at present. If you do not grasp the specific information and attack rashly, it will easily consume the vitality that Sakura has just recovered. Almost exhausted. I guess it's them too, but they did a good job. I thought those reckless juniors would be eager for success, Akagi said. Tell me about what happened to Chongying now. Anyway, it's so far away from the shore. There's still a long way to go. Shentong blinked, but finally agreed. As for Kaosheng, who came with her, she was not interested in this kind of thing. The time at sea passed quickly, and just before dawn, everyone finally arrived at the port of Chongying Island. Even at dawn, Qinji still saw the welcoming team at the port. With the dazzling lights, he saw Ruhi and Xianghe standing at the front, but Nagato did not come. However, it is also conceivable that Nagato's position in Sakura is very special. Even formal management rarely appears, let alone welcoming outsiders. Commander Qinji, welcome to Chongying. Xianghe smiled and extended his palm to Qinji, doing a good job in etiquette-related aspects. Thank you very much for coming to greet me so early and disturbing you. Qinji smiled and shook Xianghe's hand. Ha, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I never look at the time when fighting, and it's not too early at this time. Ruhi stepped forward and said, but it's a pity that it's not dawn yet, otherwise the welcome ceremony can be made more grand. Qinji smiled and shook his head. Actually, I don't like such a complicated welcome ceremony. Just keep it normal. Besides, we are here more for traveling this time, so it's okay to keep it low-key. That's good. I was also worried that Commander Shinji would blame us for not preparing enough for the welcome ceremony. It seems that I was overly worried, He said with a smile. Sister, there is no need to be so polite. At this time, Commander Shinji must have been tired from traveling all the way and needs enough rest. Let us take them to the resting place first. There is a banquet hosted by Lord Nagato tonight. We can talk slowly sometimes, Ruhi said. Haha, I quite agree with this proposal. Although it may be a little offensive to say it, it is true that the speed of this road is relatively fast. I haven't slept very long since last night. It would be better if we can take a rest before talking about things. Shinji smiled. Since Commander Shinji has said so, let's go to the hotel where you are staying first. We have made arrangements there in advance. The environment is relatively quiet, and no one will disturb you, he said. Thank you so much, Shinji said. While chatting, everyone quickly left the port terminal. Under the leadership of Xianghe and Ruhi, they settled in a quiet hotel. When Shinji woke up, he found that it was already noon. He got up and washed himself under Belfast's care, then hurriedly left his room to see how other ship girls were doing. However, when passing by Musashi's room, he found that the door was open. Shinji was stunned for a moment, and then walked in. I saw Musashi kneeling on the tatami by the window, holding a teacup in his hand, looking sideways at the window. The falling cherry blossom petals looked very peaceful. Commander is here, how are you resting? Musashi seemed to hear Shinji's footsteps, his ears twitched, turned his head and said to him with a smile. After catching up on my sleep for a while, I feel somewhat refreshed. It looks like you haven't slept yet, Shinji asked doubtfully. No, maybe after returning to such an environment, people can't help but think about some things that have happened in their memories. It seems a little preoccupied, so there is no rest. Musashi smiled. I just heard the commander's steps hurriedly when he passed by me. Is there something wrong? It's not that big of a deal, I just want to see how the others are doing now, Shinji said. Commander, there is no need to worry. They are in good spirits now. While you are resting, several groups of people have already left the hotel and gone to play outside. And instead of worrying about them, it is better to take advantage of this time. How about sitting with me, sipping tea and admiring the cherry blossoms? Musashi smiled. In that case, it's better to be respectful than to obey. Shinji smiled, nodded to Belfast who was following him, and then sat in front of Musashi. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 846. Maybe foxes have more sensitive noses, at least that's what Shinji feels. Before even chatting with Musashi while they were sitting there, Amagi and others came over. However, Akagi and Kaga were not seen among the visitors at that time. Amagi said that they seemed to have gone to discuss matters with the Shigesakura camp. Although they were no longer the leaders here, their fame and prestige were still there, so the Shigesakura senior management had to give face. The leisurely time passed quickly, and the afternoon passed in a blink of an eye. Since the banquet invited by Nagato was held in the evening, my brother returned to his room after dinner in the afternoon, took a short rest, and put on his clothes. He put on his commander's uniform and headed to the venue of the banquet with the ship girls. Originally, Shinji thought he would be at the shrine where Nagato was, but it seemed that was not the case. Instead, he was in a hotel controlled by the Chongqing Maritime Safety Bureau. Speaking of which, the shrine is a solemn place, and it is indeed not suitable for holding a welcome banquet like this. Of course, what Shinji expected was that although Nagato was the initiator of the banquet, it was Hai who hosted the banquet. This was exactly the same as Shinji's Minato area. Shokaku, Ziwakaku, and others who attended the banquet were also dressed in costumes. They obviously attached great importance to this welcome banquet. As for Nagato, She wore a Miko uniform that had not changed for thousands of years. It might be a bit embarrassing for someone like her to wear a formal dress. Commander Qin Ji is welcome to the welcome banquet in Chongqing, but the badge on your body looks a bit scary. He welcomed with a smile, and said in surprise when he saw the badge worn by Brother Qin. Yes, at a glance, among the 9 major camps, except for our highest medal of honor, Chongying, all the medals of honor from other camps have been collected. This kind of achievement has never been achieved by anyone, not even our ship. So is my mother. But having said that, Commander Qin Ji deserves such an honor. If it weren't for your last rescue, I'm afraid Chongying's current situation would be 10,000 times worse than expected. Xianghe nodded and said with emotion. Haha, since my commanders are already excellent, shouldn't Chongying also show some respect? After all, the other 8 major camps have given corresponding honors. If Chongying doesn't give them, then I'm afraid it won't be justified, right? At this time, Akage came over from the other side holding a wine glass, looking at Xianghe and Ziwei with a flirtatious look. Era, isn't this senior? What senior said is an internal matter. We will decide after careful consideration. And senior is now the ship's wife of Commander Qin Ji. For Chongying, he is considered an outsider. Like in this case, it's better to be restrained. Xianghe looked at Akage and retorted without any politeness. Humph, your mouth is still as tough as before. Akage frowned. This is also the result of senior education. Senior patted his butt and left the position he needed to protect. Otherwise, how could we, as juniors, have reached this position now? Xianghe said with a smile. Qin Ji couldn't help but feel ashamed. But he couldn't get in the way now. After all, Akage left Chongying. Although it was her own decision, Qin Ji's reasons were also involved. Saying something now would only add fuel to the fire. Oh, I'm just looking for something more real. And if it weren't for me, do you think my commander might go to Chongying to help immediately? At that time, Chongying's losses would be greater than now. So even though I left Chongying, I was still protecting Chongying, unlike some juniors who were in their positions and made Chongying's current strength plummet. Akage didn't show any weakness on his side and retorted. Looking at the performance of these 2 people, Qin Ji felt a little confused. Just when he was wondering if he should still stand here, a figure walked over with a smile. It was Hai, the host of the Sakura banquet. Excuse me for interrupting your interest. The banquet is about to start. If you 2 have anything to say, you can wait until the opening ceremony is completed and find a place to chat privately. Hai said to Akage, who was irritated with each other. Xianghe said. Then he ignored the reactions of Akage and Xianghe and looked at Qin Ji. Commander Qin Ji, in order to thank you for leading the fleet to help Chongying, Lord Nagato will grant you Chongying's highest honor at this banquet. The Medal of Honor contains the Grand Ribbon of the Order of Sakura, so please lend me the cloth and go to the center with me to start the entire banquet together. Qin Ji smiled and said, thank you very much for Nagato's kindness, and also thank you Hai for your information, so let's go there together. Okay, this way, Commander Qin Ji. Hai smiled and led Qin Ji away from this place of constant disputes. The 2 of them walked all the way to the high platform of the banquet venue, and then Bai Rui took the microphone and said to the venue, welcome everyone to attend the banquet that Chongying has prepared to welcome Commander Qin Ji. In fact, this banquet should have started early. Was held, but due to some delays, it could not be officially held until now. When Ren was attacked, Chongying suffered huge losses. If Commander Qin Ji had not led the ship girl to appear in time, Chongying's losses would have been even greater than now. Therefore, in order to thank Commander Qin Ji, holding a banquet for him alone was not enough to express Chongying's respect for him. After high-level discussions, our son of God, Lord Nagato, is ready to award Commander Qin Ji with the highest medal in the Sakura Empire as a reward. This is our highest respect, and it is also a tribute to Commander Shinji for his selfless dedication and heroic fighting. Now let us welcome Nagato-sama. After a burst of applause, Nagato, who was dressed in a witch costume, slowly walked from the back of the venue to the high platform of the stage, and then stood in front of Shinji, holding a small box in her hand. She opened the box and revealed a golden medal inside. The 5-color petals had Chongying's logo on them. This was Chongying's highest medal, the Great Ribbon of Honor. As the son of God of Chongying, today, on behalf of all of Chongying, I award the highest medal of honor to Commander Shinji. I hope that this medal, which carries our respect for Chongying, can thank Commander Shinji for his contribution to Chongying. I also hope that this medal can continue to inspire Commander Shinji to continue fighting bravely and implement the core of Azalane. Nagato held the medal in his hand and said to Shinji very solemnly. Shinji was also affected by the scene and gave a military salute to Nagato. Then Nagato put the medal on Shinji's chest. However, because Shinji was taller, the way Nagato stood on tiptoe was a bit cute and funny, but the result was good. Haha, the awarding ceremony is completed. The time now belongs to everyone. I hope you have a pleasant night. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Hwangming Muji. Chapter 847. It has been many days since I came to Chongying, and everything was arranged in a very orderly manner. With the coordination and negotiation between Akagi and Kaga, it was very easy to negotiate cooperation with Chongying. Although the previous choices of Akagi and Kaga do not represent the choices of everyone in Chongying, the strength shown by Shinji now means that the choice of Akagi and Kaga is successful, so Chongying will also put the treasure on Shinji. After all, the last time Chongying was in trouble, Shinji sent half of the ship girls for reinforcements, which could represent the friendship between the two parties. Everyone who came to Chongying did not go out for travel, or after seeing the vast landscape of Donghuang, there was not much attractive in Chongying. The so-called Mount Fuji and the so-called farm scenery are just like that, and even the girls in Chichisakura are not very interested. Most of the time every day, I would go shopping with Shinji and eat some delicious food. Otherwise, take advantage of the warmer weather and go to the beach to admire their swimsuits. But then again, there's nothing more you do in Minato City on weekdays than this, right? On this day, Jozu suddenly ran to Shinji's room with Node, looking very happy. Commander, I heard that there is a festival on the island next to this island tonight. It looks very fun. Do you want to go with us? Before the person arrived, the voice had already arrived. Shinji put down the book in his hand, turned his head and looked over, and saw a full of energy Juna and a helpless Nashiro. Nashiro saw Shinji turn his head and saw the book he had just put down in his hand, so he apologized gently, Commander, I'm sorry for disturbing your reading. Ever since the two made an oath, I don't know if it was Shinji's illusion, but Node gave people the impression that she had changed from a gentle girl next door to a virtuous wife and mother. Shinji smiled and shook his head, it doesn't matter. I don't have anything to do now and reading is just for fun. But what was the festival that the wine man was talking about just now? I heard it's a festival for a god. I don't know what god it is, but it's pretty lively anyway. At the festival in Chongsakura, there are usually many stalls selling food at night, as well as some stalls with fun things. There are much more things to see than usual shopping. There are also fireworks at night, and there are a lot of people and it's lively, so let's go and have a look. Anyway, the commander has nothing to do here. People also wear yukatas, and Nashiro-san can also wear them. Don't you, Commander, want to see Nashiro-san wearing a yukata? He. The wine man said with a smile. Shinji paused and saw Nashiro's face suddenly turned red. Jozu, don't talk nonsense. That's right. You must wear a yukata when going to the festival. And didn't we already buy the yukata when we came back? The wine man exposed Node without hesitation. Shinji couldn't help but laugh when he heard what the two sisters said. It seems that Node is also looking forward to this very much. So, let's do this. I will ask Bismarck later. As long as there is nothing else to do in the evening, I will accompany you to the festival. Really, Commander, Joseo said excitedly. Shinji nodded. Anyway, this period of time is a vacation, so as long as it doesn't delay the business, any request is acceptable. Besides, I am quite interested in the Chang'eing festival. If I can experience it in person, then even better. By the way, does anyone else know about this? Is there anyone going together? Not many people know, and we didn't go out of our way to tell everyone. We didn't know whether the commander would go or not. If we tell everyone rashly, it would make everyone feel too disappointed if the commander doesn't go by then. Nashiro replied. Hee, Commander, don't you want to go on a date with Nashiro-san alone? Jozu said with a smile. Shinji blinked, looked at Node whose face immediately turned red, and smiled. Of course I am willing to date Node alone, or I really look forward to it, but I can't be so selfish when we travel together. And festivals don't happen every day, so rather than going on a date alone, I hope to take everyone to experience the Sakura festival together. As for the date alone, I can just wait until after the festival and make it up to Node personally. It's okay, Commander, I understand what you are thinking, and we are happier if we are together. Of course, we will be even happier if we go on a date with the Commander alone, Nashiro said. Haha, don't worry, there will be plenty of opportunities in the future. Shinji stood up with a smile. You two come with me to find Bismarck. If you confirm that everything is okay, you can also help me notify others. Okay, Commander. Hearing what Shinji said, Joseo immediately replied excitedly. The three of them left the room together, and Shinji walked towards Bismarck's room not far away. After arriving at the door, he knocked gently on the door, and soon Bismarck's cold voice came from the other side of the room. Please come in. Shinji opened the door and walked in, only to see Bismarck crouching beside the desk, writing something. When she saw Shinji walking in, she immediately put down her pen and stood up. Commander. What are you busy with? Shinji approached with a smile. There are some special ideas about the next improvement of the experimental site. I want to compile them into a general outline and then go back and discuss them with everyone, Bismarck said. Shinji nodded. This is a good idea. Occasionally, some wonderful ideas may lead to unexpected results after discussion. What about Commander? Why do you think of coming to me at this time? If it's a chat, then I can take some time, Bismarck said with a smile. Although the past 2 days have indeed been relatively leisurely, I haven't been that busy yet, Shinji said with a smile. I came to you to ask if there is anything else you need from me today. Just now, Jozu and Node came to see me. Let's go to a festival on a small island near Chongsakura Island, so I'm going to take you all there. So that's what happened. I don't have much to do here, and I think that if the commander wants to go, then he should go. It's not easy to come to Chang'eing, but you also need to experience the unique culture here, right? Bismarck said. Okay, I feel relieved when you say that. Shinji nodded. You can go together then. Although business is important, it is also vacation time now. Don't let yourself be too tired. Relax once in a while. Combining work and rest can actually improve work efficiency. Then just listen to the commander. I will be there on time, Bismarck smiled. Well, that's good. I'll leave first, and I have to inform other people that we will meet in the lobby in the afternoon, Shinji said. Okay, Commander, let's get busy first. My ship girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 848. The news that they were going to the festival quickly spread throughout the hotel. Many people bought corresponding bathrobes while shopping in the past 2 days, and some people had not yet bought them. They took advantage of this period to buy them quickly. Even the ship girls in Donghuang took action. However, such a big move must have alarmed the top management of Chongying. When Xianghe and others learned that Qin Ji was going to take his ship girl to participate in the festival, their heads almost exploded. "Sister, what are you upset about? This is obviously a good thing." Commander Qin Ji took his ship girls to participate in the festival to learn about Chongying's culture. "Why do you look so upset?" Ruhi asked in confusion. "This thing is essentially a good thing, but have you ever thought about how troublesome it would be if more than 100 beautiful girls suddenly came to the festival?" Xianghe said. "Ah, are you afraid of being harassed? But don't commanders usually take ship girls to attend festivals?" Ruhi asked. "But there are not that many of them, there are just a few of them, so as a commander, they can definitely take care of them. But Commander Qin Ji is different. He has hundreds of people under his command, and they will definitely be scattered in various places during the festival. Maybe there is someone who can't think of anything to strike up a conversation with, and if there is a dispute, will we stand on Chongying's side, or on Commander Qin Ji's side?" Xianghe explained. "Well, this is indeed a problem, so what should we do? It's impossible to prevent local people from participating in the festival, right? We don't have that much power," Ruhi said. "That's why I'm in such a dilemma," Xianghe said helplessly. "Forget it, how about this? Isn't there an uninhabited island near our main island? Or organize our internal personnel to hold a festival there. Well, it's just a visit anyway, I believe Commander Qin Ji will understand." "Sister, are you saying that there will be an exclusive ceremony for Commander Qin Ji and his ship's wife?" Ruhi's eyes lit up. "Yes, this is the only way now," Xianghe said. "While it's still early, Ziwikaku, please contact Hai and ask her to help with the design. It's best to tell Yamashiro and Fuzu and let them design it. Some shrine elements, and later some ship girls will be recruited as stall owners. We also need to bring the barbarian troops from our headquarters to arrange the arrangements as soon as possible. I will go to Commander Qin Ji now to discuss the next steps with him." "No problem, then I'll go now after Ziwa," he said. He hurriedly left the Chongying headquarters. Xianghe sighed and followed suit. It didn't take long to find him at the hotel. "Qin Ji. Xianghe. Why do you have time to come to my place today? Is there something wrong?" Qin Ji asked with a smile. "Commander Qin Ji, I'm sorry to bother you," Xianghe said apologetically. "Today is not about work, but about your attendance at the festival in the afternoon." Qin Ji was stunned for a moment, and then asked with some uncertainty, "Did it cause trouble to you? If you find it difficult, we can cancel this event." Xianghe quickly shook his head. "No, it's just that I'm worried about the crowds at the festival. If someone harasses your ship girl." Qin Ji touched his chin. "This is indeed a problem. When we were in Donghuang before, we even used special trains for transportation. There's nothing we can do about it. After all, we can't guarantee that everyone can stay safe. Every ship girl has a very powerful power. If they are angered and cause trouble, it will have a strong impact. Of course, I'm not saying that you and your ship girl can't go, I just hope that you can find another place. I have now sent Ziwahi and the others to build the things needed for the festival on a nearby uninhabited island. Then you can go there and enjoy the atmosphere of the festival without anyone interfering," Xianghe said. Ahem. Qin Ji coughed lightly, feeling a little embarrassed. "I'm so sorry that I made you work so hard. Haha, Commander Qin Ji is our VIP guest in Chongying. It is what we should do to give you a good experience here in Chongying. Moreover, You also have Lord Musashi, Lord Shinano, and Lord Nagato in your fleet. It is also necessary for Chongying senior management to give them a satisfactory journey, Xianghe said. Since you have said so, then there is no problem on my side, and the cost this time can be paid by our port area, Qin Ji said. Haha, that's not necessary. Commander Qin Ji's supplies in the port area are still reserved to enhance the strength of your fleet and fight to protect the world. As for these fragmentary expenses, leave them to us, Xianghe said with a smile. It's a bit embarrassing, Qin Ji said. It's nothing. It's settled now. Someone will pick you up when the time comes. I just want to go check out the settings over there, so I won't bother you anymore, Xianghe said with a smile. It's really troublesome, but thank you anyway, Qin Ji said. It doesn't matter, that's it for now. After Xianghe finished speaking, he hurriedly left the hotel, leaving Qin Ji and Belfast standing there awkwardly. It seems like I'm in trouble this time, Qin Ji said helplessly. Master, I think this is not necessarily a bad thing. This can strengthen the connection between us and Chongying. I believe Miss Xianghe is also happy at this time, Belfast smiled. That's what you said. Anyway, I can take them for a nice stroll tonight, Qin Ji said with a smile. So, have Belfast prepared any yukata? I am the master's maid. It is enough to dress up like this by the master's side. As for the bathrobe and so on, I haven't prepared it yet, Belfast said. That's not okay. Since we are all playing together, we still have to make preparations. Qin Ji stretched out his hand and looked at the time. It's still early. Let's go out together and buy you one bathrobe. This. Belfast hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Then I'll trouble the master, but what about the master's clothes? Should he wear a bathrobe or other clothes? Qin Ji smiled and said, I don't care. I just want to wear normal casual clothes or go buy a bathrobe. Then just wear a yukata, and I'll pick one up for the master then, Belfast chuckled. Ha, okay, let's do what you want, Qin Ji said with a smile, then let's set off now. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 849. When the sun set in the afternoon and the remaining light of the setting sun filled the sky, the Chongying people finally arrived at the hotel. He brought Qin Ji and others, who had been waiting for a long time, to the port, picked them up on a relatively luxurious cruise ship, and drove to the nearby uninhabited island. Although this small island is not far from Chongying Island, it was already dark when Qin Ji and others arrived on the cruise ship. However, the pier of the island has already been decorated with street lights, and in order to match the theme of the celebration, they are all more traditional lantern-style street lights with heavy cherry blossoms. Under the dim night, the lanterns emit orange light. Looking along the road, one by one, they are like fireflies in the dark night. They are very beautiful. Wow, even though I haven't seen the festival site yet, it's already very atmospheric looking at it here. Since it was Shozeo and Nashiro who suggested it, they naturally followed Qin Ji. Juneo is wearing a more traditional bathing suit today, in black and pink color, decorated with flower petals. She is dignified without losing any vitality, which is very suitable for her personality. As for Nashiro, it's a lot more complicated. She wears a red kimono on her upper body, but her lower body is a black patterned short skirt. Below that, she has two legs wrapped in black pantyhose. She's cute but also reveals a hint of temptation. However, Qin Ji admitted that as long as a person is beautiful, no matter what clothes he wears, he will be beautiful. And sometimes wearing more traditional clothes can better reflect a person's charm, such as Nashiro and Shosuke at this time, and of course there are more ship girls. They are either cute, mature, lively, or excited, and they are all kinds of things that make people dizzy. Just like a flock of dancing butterflies, the flowers are dazzling. Indeed, but it seems a little quiet, Qin Ji said with a smile. Haha, I'm sorry to bother the two children, Xianghe and Ruhi, but I believe this place will become lively in a short time. Tiancheng followed Qin Ji and said with a smile. That's right, since there is such a good opportunity, let's have a good time, and don't let down Chongying's arrangements for this place. Qin Ji turned to all the ship girls with a smile. Don't worry, Commander. When it comes to having fun, Master Swifeng is the best. Hey, Yutaki can already smell the barbecue, I'm leaving first. The happiest thing was the destroyer. Following the snowy wind, 11 Li and Shijer quickly ran forward. A group of people also caught up with them, passing by Qin Ji one after another, causing a whirlwind of rush. Ha, you run slower, be careful not to fall. This made Qin Ji couldn't help but remind the destroyers. New. A neat voice did not slow down the crowd at all. Qin Ji could only shake his head in a funny way. Haha, Commander, don't worry about them. Those little guys are very flexible. Besides, even if they fall, it won't hurt too much. So let's go to the festival together, Magi said with a smile. Well, let's go together. Sure enough, most of the adult ship girls can keep their temper and know what is important and what is secondary. They gathered around Qin Ji and introduced to him some of Zhongying's festival culture. While walking towards the front. After walking not far, I saw a very Japanese-style shrine door. After passing through that door, I found a very lively street. Of course, all the liveliness was caused by my own kanji. On both sides of the road, there are some stalls that often appear in festivals, and these stall owners are all K-ship girls, and many of them are old acquaintances. It is obvious that they are awakened K-ship girls. Of course, there are also unawakened K-ship girls. Mother. At this time, they were greeting Qin Ji's ship girls cordially and selling them things from their stalls, but the prices were very low, which was basically like giving them away for free. Qin Ji couldn't help but laugh. He walked to a stall and stopped, and said to Ruhi, who was fanning himself with a fan, in just one afternoon, you really decorated this place. Hey, don't underestimate the speed of our Sakura Ziwa, he said with a smile, it has a festival atmosphere, right? Qin Ji said awkwardly, I have never participated in the Chongying festival before, so I don't know if you ask me. But it is quite lively, and they are all very excited. You can see, how do you think? Do you want to get a mask and wear it? This thing is rarely sold elsewhere except for festivals, Ruhi said to Qin Ji with a smile. Haha, that's true. Masks like this usually only appear at festivals. A clear and beautiful voice floated over. Qin Ji turned around and found that it was Akagi and Kaga. I rarely have the habit of wearing masks, but I remember you seem to have a mask, Kaga, Qin Ji said. Yes, Kagami nodded, raised her hand and a blue light flashed, and a very delicate mask appeared in her hand. So there is no Shikong, Qin Ji asked Shikong. He, is the commander planning to buy me a mask? If so, then I will be very happy, as Shikong said. He came to Qin Ji and hugged his arm and lay down on him on the shoulders. That's right. What kind of mask do you like? Qin Ji didn't feel anything wrong with being treated like this by Shikong, or he was used to it. As long as the commander chooses it, I will like it, Akagi smiled. Qin Ji looked at Ruhi, who looked weird, took a fox mask with red stripes from the counter, and said to her, how much does this cost? Ruhi was stunned and immediately waved his hand. Originally, if other people came over, they would definitely have to accept some token payments, but if Commander Tinga comes over, that won't be necessary. Qin Ji rolled his eyes, we are all here together, okay. Don't make it so special for me, otherwise it will be boring. Ha, okay, in that case, just ask the commander to give me 100 yen, and treat it as my gift to Senior Ziwa, he said with a smile. Well, okay, Qin Ji smiled, took out 100 yen from his sleeve and handed it to Ruhi. At the same time, He handed the fox mask in his hand to Akage. Here, how about wearing it? Commander, please bring it to me personally. This will make it appear more intimate, Akage said with a smile. Okay, Brother Chin readily agreed to Akage's request. After all, wearing a mask is a very simple matter. Pulling the rope apart, she put the mask on Akage's face and put it on. Although Akage's appearance was covered and his current expression could not be seen clearly, it could be seen from the wagging tail that she was very happy. Ha, this looks more and more like a fox, Chin-ji said with a smile. It was originally. Ruhi whispered beside him. Commander, let's go to other places together. What did Akage clearly hear? However, he did not refute, but took Chin-ji's hand and said. Good. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Hwangming Muji. Chapter 850. Walking on the quiet road, the noise of the festival street seemed far away. Of course, Chin-ji didn't come here by himself, but came here in company. At this time, Nashiro was following him. After all, visiting the festival was the original idea of the sisters, otherwise today would not be like this. Did you have fun today? Chin-ji said with a smile. Well, I'm very happy. Although I didn't expect it to turn out like this, the festival here is much better than the one over there. At least you don't have to worry about other things. Commander can also enjoy the festive atmosphere with us. It's really thanks to Shokaku and the others, Nashiro said softly. Just be happy, Chin-ji said with a smile. Commander, does he care whether we are happy or not? Nashiro asked, tilting his head. Absolutely. In addition, apart from official duties in the port area, all I can do is keep you in a happy state every day. I can't help with things like fighting, Chin-ji said with a smile. Actually, Commander, you don't need to mind so much. You are already good enough. As your first ship's daughter, I have watched you all the way from being a trainee commander to owning such a large fleet. In fact, when I stay with you, I occasionally feel a little pressure. After all, the commander is so good. If I don't perform better, wouldn't I be unworthy of the commander's guidance? Node said with a smile. Chin-ji smiled and shook his head and said, is it that exaggerated? But I already know what you said, so I will behave worse in the future. Haha, that's not necessary. If the other sisters know that the reason why the commander becomes worse in the future is because of me, then I will definitely feel guilty, Nashiro said with a smile. Haha, of course it won't be too bad. In fact, I feel like I'm pretty good the way I am now. I won't put too much pressure on you and won't be too lax, Chin-ji said with a smile. Well, Commander, the way he is now is quite good, Nashiro said with a smile. Chin-ji smiled. Actually, not only are you witnessing me, as my first ship girl, I have also been paying attention to you. From being serious at the beginning to now, I often have a smile on my face. Nashiro has also experienced a lot of growth. Commander. Nashiro's face turned slightly red when he heard Chin-ji say this. After all, we weren't too familiar at the beginning, so we could only face each other very normally. Haha, you're still talking about this. Who was the one who wanted to chop me with a knife when we disagreed? Chin-ji said with a smile. Who asked the commander to ask the centaur those shameful questions? Nashiro said helplessly. Well, I didn't understand anything at that time, and the centaur has a gentler personality, so I just asked some small questions. After all, you also know that I come from another world. At that time, I didn't know anything about ship girls at all. Although you look like humans, the power you possess is definitely not what I know. Anyway, I was very curious, so I asked those questions, but I didn't expect that your reaction would be so big. Qin defended. But even then, would an ordinary girl commander ask those questions? Node said awkwardly. Ahem, no, after all, I haven't lived enough yet. Qin said immediately. Haha, so my reaction can be considered a normal girl's reaction, Nashiro said with a smile. That's right, Qin smiled, time passes so fast. In the blink of an eye, it has been more than 4 years, almost 5 years. From a person who didn't understand anything and was looking for his family in despair, to now he is dead. The well-known commander really makes people feel that time is like running water, slipping by unknowingly. Commander, are you worried? Node asked. A little bit, I am almost 30 now. I don't know how long I can last in this state, and I don't know what our fate will be in the future, but you are still as you were when I first summoned you. You are young and beautiful, and time will never leave a mark on you. Of course I am not lamenting the unfairness of fate or anything else, but I am a little worried about how you will feel when I grow old one day, and whether you will do something stupid. Qin said while looking at the starry night sky. I don't want to think about those things. Just thinking about those things makes my heart almost break. So all we can do is cherish the time we spend together now, Node said, holding Qin hand tightly. I'm sorry. In such a happy atmosphere, I shouldn't have mentioned these disappointing words, Qin said apologetically, maybe this is just a little too greedy. In short, no matter what happens in the future, I will always be with you. At this moment, a huge firework suddenly exploded in the night sky, emitting a brilliant light. Qin and Nashiro looked at the night sky behind them at the same time, watching the fireworks gradually dissipate in the sky, and then bright fireworks bombs were continuously shot into the higher sky, bursting out the most gorgeous fireworks. It's so beautiful, Nashiro exclaimed. I didn't expect that the place I chose unintentionally was the best place to watch the fireworks. Yes, it's really beautiful, Qin smiled. Ruhi and the others should have prepared these fireworks, right? Not necessarily. When I passed by a roadside stall just now, I saw someone selling fireworks there. Maybe our fireworks were bought and set off by people from our port area, Node said. Haha, if this is really the case, then it must be Yukikaze, Shiger, and the others, Qin said with a smile. Maybe, but what I should be more grateful to today is Commander. It is precisely because you accompanied me here that I was able to see such beautiful fireworks, Nashiro said with a smile. In that case, I should also thank you. Thank you for inviting me and letting me see such beautiful fireworks. Thank you for accompanying me, Qin said with a smile. Commander, I heard that if you make a wish to the fireworks of the festival, your dream may come true. If you really want to make a wish, what kind of wish will you make? Node asked. Didn't some people say that wishes won't work if they are spoken out? Qin said with a smile. But the commander hasn't made a wish now, Nashiro said, looking a little cunning. Well, if I really want to make a wish, then I might hope that we can stay together forever, and that we can be happy forever. Of course, I also hope that the war will stop soon so that we don't have to. If you worry too much about fighting, you can enjoy the world easily, Qin said with a smile. Commander is really a little greedy, Nashiro said with a smile. Then what kind of wishes does Node have? Qin asked with a smile. Me, Node smiled sweetly and suddenly threw himself into Qin arms. I hope we can be together forever. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 851. During the following period, he lived a very leisurely life in Chongying. Apart from going out for a walk with the ship girl every day, Qin spent the rest of his time studying and replenishing his knowledge reserves. Whenever they see their commanders working so hard, whether it is Bismarck and other camp leaders or New Jersey and others, they are all very pleased. It is a very rare thing to be able to continue to enrich yourself after having such great achievements and not be lost in these achievements. Even when Qin Ji was studying later, the vanguard once again acted as a guard, blocking out all the ship girls who had nothing to do and telling them not to disturb Qin Ji. Time passed day by day in this kind of life, and finally the time came to June, almost approaching the date agreed with the Northern Alliance. Putting down the book in his hand, Qin Ji rubbed his sleepy eyes, stood up and did a few relaxing movements. After he felt comfortable, he turned his head and looked at the clock in the room. Huh, is it already 5 o'clock, Qin Ji said in surprise, and then walked to the door. As soon as he opened the door, he saw the vanguard outside. Commander, are you finished studying? Vanguard said with a smile. Yes, it's over for now, Qin Ji nodded, and then said to the vanguard, so you don't have to stay here anymore, you can also do some things of your own. In addition, please inform Bismarck, Tianchang, Musashi, Veneto, Richelieu, Yuxian, Zhenhai and the others came to me at 5:30. Understood. Kinwei nodded, turned, and left the door. Seeing the vanguard leaving, Qin Ji couldn't help but shake his head and smile. This royal battleship has a strong sense of responsibility. As a guard knight, he is definitely a rare candidate. Of course, sometimes some jokes are made, but for Qin Ji, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. After returning to his room, someone came over not long after, but it was not the ship girls Qin Ji mentioned before, but Belfast. Master, has he finished his studies? He finished earlier today than before. Is there something wrong? Belfast asked while tidying up Qin Ji's room. Yes, it's already over 6 months now, and the date we agreed with the Northern Alliance is getting closer and closer. It's almost time to leave Chongying. So I'm going to call Bismarck and the others to come over to discuss the next decision, and those people will follow us. Head to the Northern Alliance and those people will return to the port area, Qin Ji said. So that's what it looks like, then let me prepare some things for you to use for the reception later, Belfast said with a smile. Then I'll trouble Bifa, Qin Ji said with a smile. It is my honor as a maid to be able to serve my master, Belfast smiled. Sure enough, just as Belfast was preparing, Bismarck came to Qin Ji's room first, 10 minutes earlier than the time Qin Ji had said before. Bismarck came here quite early, Qin Ji said with a smile. I don't have anything to do there, so as soon as the vanguard notified me, I came over after making some preparations. Bismarck smiled, and then sat next to Qin Ji. The commander called us here this time to discuss matters about the Northern Alliance. Listening to Bismarck's guess, Qin Ji nodded, it is indeed a matter of the Northern Alliance. It is not too early now. The ice and snow in the polar regions are dissipating. It is time for us to set off for the secret room. But before that, we need to determine the number of people. There are more ship girls coming with us this time, but we don't need so many ship girls to go to the secret room. Some of them must be sent back to the port area. Therefore, the person who will lead them back to Hong Kong and the people who follow us must be determined, and then we say goodbye to Chongying. In 1 to 2 days at most, we would have to leave. I previously guessed that the commander would have to leave in the next few days, so I have drawn up a list on this point. The commander can take a look at it first for a little reference. Bismarck took out a list from the ship's installation space. He handed the list to Qin Ji and said with a smile. Qin Ji took over Bismarck's list with a surprised look on his face. As expected of Bismarck, he is indeed very thoughtful. Actually, there aren't many things to do here. I designed this list just to find something to do for myself, Bismarck said with a smile. Qin Ji nodded. After taking a look at it for a few times, he nodded and said, it's pretty much what I expected, but I always feel like there are too many people there. Who are there too many people? At this time, a voice came from the door. Amagi and Musashi walked in, followed by Yuxian and Zhenhai, and of course Veneto and Richelieu. After arranging these people to sit down, Qin Ji took the list in his hand and said, it's already more than 6 months now, so we should go to the polar regions. This time I called you here to discuss the candidates for going to the polar regions. Bismarck happened to have made one before the corresponding list. When I just looked at it, I felt that there were a little too many people. Let me take a look. Tian Cheng took the list from Qin Singer and nodded after looking at it for a few times. It's almost as expected. It's indeed a Bismarck. If we go with this lineup, then the trip will be basically the same. There is nothing to be afraid of. But overall, our numbers are indeed somewhat exceeded. Not to mention a few maritime legends, you have now completed the ship conversion, and with the addition of 3 embers, our strength is enough to support the completion of a large-scale battle, a massive battle. So my suggestion is to leave a few outstanding cruisers and destroyers, and everyone else returns to the port area. After all, this time is a cooperation between us and Northern United, and they also have people there, so we just need to maintain our own organization. Otherwise, if too many people go, it will cause dissatisfaction with the Northern Alliance. Qin Ji said. Commander has been thoughtful, so who do you plan to bring along? Musashi asked. Nashiro, Atago, Ayanami, and Yukikaze. Qin Ji said, add a few sea legends, you and the 3 embers, it should be more than enough to deal with this secret room. As for the others, I am going to let Akagi and Kaga take them back, and by the way, I will also receive the steel delivered to our port area from Dong Huang and Shiji Sakura. This is no problem. A group of people nodded. Okay, the personnel have been determined, and the next step is route planning, Qin Ji said, then looked at Belfast aside and asked her to take the prepared C-sheet from her desk. Picture. I decided to take this route this time. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 852. The number of personnel was determined with this meeting, and everyone was quickly notified. Although they knew when they came that there was a possibility that they would not be able to participate in the second half of the trip, when the day actually came, many ship girls were still a little disappointed. Of course, this disappointment is not the disappointment that Qin Ji has determined these places, but the disappointment that he is not strong enough to help his commander. However, the selected people were overjoyed. Ayanami was a little better, especially Yukikaze, who couldn't be too proud in the past 2 days. Finally, the time came for the departure. After saying goodbye to Ruhi and Xianghe, Qin Ji led everyone on their way home. Of course, this is in the eyes of Ziwikaku and the others. After all, going to the Northern Alliance is a relatively secret matter, so it is impossible to head north directly from Shiji Sakura's main island. After leaving the Chongying Sea area and confirming that there were no people around, Qin Ji's command ship and 2 command ships separated from the larger force and headed south and north toward the Bering Strait. Because the mass-produced sirens disappeared in the sea, they did not encounter any enemies along the way. The voyage on the sea was very calm, with only the howling sea wind blowing day and night. As soon as we entered the Bering Strait and entered the polar range, the surrounding air immediately became colder. Although part of the ice and snow has melted, icebergs and huge ice blocks can be seen everywhere in the sea. Therefore, you must be extremely careful when sailing in this area, and you must maintain your attention at all times. Otherwise, if the ship hits an iceberg or ice block, it will be a big problem. Most of the time, Qin Ji's 3 command ships sail along the coastline, which can avoid most of the ice and permafrost from the Arctic Ocean. Finally, after several days of driving, we arrived at the polar military port agreed with the Northern Alliance. Soviet Belarus stationed here expressed a warm welcome to Qin Ji's arrival. Qin Ji was surprised when he saw that there were only about 40 or 50 people in the entire military port. Do you usually rely on so many people to guard the entire polar sea? Qin Ji asked Soviet Belarus. Of course this is not the case. There were more people before, but they could not exceed 100 people at most. The environment here is too harsh and not suitable for humans to live for a long time, so even there were only some ship girls here. After experiencing the siren tide before, although the attack here was relatively weak, we still lost some people. At present, our polar team is just a few of us awakened ship girls. In fact, most of the people belong to the logistics department. We are engaged in a seemingly endless tug of war with the polar sirens all the time, and the current deployment is to deal with such a harsh battle situation and conduct regular rounds of battle. It is precisely because of this that we have no choice but to ask Commander Chin Ge for help, explained Soviet Belarus. Then she looked at the ship girls beside Chin Ge. It seems that Commander Chin Ge has brought a lot of sincerity this time. I can feel the power in them, except for those cruisers and destroyers. In addition, each one is a crushing force. And if I remember correctly, it should be Kronstadt, which our Northern Alliance belongs to, right? Haha, Belarus, you have really good vision. I am the Type 69 heavy cruiser, Kronstadt smiled at Soviet Belarus. Legend of the Sea, it seems that Commander Chin Ge has quickly continued to strengthen his strength after experiencing the last battle. Frederick the Great, who fought side by side last time, is not here, but he can be tied with New Jersey. I believe their identities are not simple, right? Soviet Belarus said. Yes, you know New Jersey, Kronstadt, and Shinano, so I won't introduce them to you. As for the others, they are Musashi and Shimekaze of Shichsakura, the Royal Vanguard, and the iron-blooded Ulri. Zifenghutan Chin Ge introduced. As for these three, they are Ember's ships, Filong, and you have fought side by side before, I believe you are no strangers. These two are counterattacks and reputation, and they are also our helpers this time. According to them, they once felt the breath of the Arbiter here in the northern United Polar Icefield. If the feeling is not wrong, then it is very likely that they will meet the Arbiter during this trip to the secret room, so I will bring these people. I hope you do not mind. No, this time it's all about cooperation, not to mention relying on the power of Commander Chin Ge's fleet. Everything must be done while ensuring safety. Soviet Belarus understood. Well, then should we set off now, or do you have other arrangements? Chin Ge asked. Actually, there is nothing to prepare for. I just don't know if Commander Love Song's ship girls can adapt to polar operations in the north. Do they need to get familiar with it for a while? Soviet Belarus asked. No problem. Since entering the Arctic Circle during this period, they have often been active on the sea. Although the polar operations may not be as profound as you understand, they can definitely cope with this crisis, Chin Ge said. Okay, in that case, let me introduce the personnel involved in this polar battle. Let's get to know each other, and then we will fight side by side, Soviet Belarus said. Learn. Soon, Soviet Belarus introduced the awakening ship girls who participated in the secret room exploration this time. In addition to her as the leader, there are Kirov, Talon, Murmansk, Thunder, and Hongliang. Chin Ge, the ship girl, has all these, so it is easier to get along with them. After getting to know all the personnel, supplies were carried out at the military port in the polar region, and everyone sailed towards the direction of the secret room. By the way, where is Soviet Rosia? Isn't she also a member of the polar fleet? Chin Ge asked Soviet Belarus on the way. Rosia, Khabib, and Tashkent are leading the main force of the polar fleet. They are patrolling the area around the secret room. They are not afraid of 10,000, just in case. Although the siren has not appeared now, but if it does, give us a flanking attack from both sides will not do, Soviet Belarus said. I see. Chin Ge nodded. If it was a normal sea area, he could also tell them that the siren's target was not here and that it was currently recuperating. But he has never been to the pole, and he doesn't know what the situation here is. What if it is different from what the purifier said before? After all, he is leading the team this time, and his actions must be foolproof. As the fleet progressed, more and more icebergs floated, and everyone got closer and closer to the target. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 853. Why do I feel that Commander Qin Ji seems a little calm? Is it because he is used to all kinds of big scenes? On the command ship, Talon approached Soviet Belarus and asked softly. Since Qin Ji's command ship serves as the general flagship of this operation, the core personnel of both sides are here. Maybe because we didn't say anything, Soviet Belarus said with a smile. Ah! You didn't say anything, Talon said speechlessly. It's not like we didn't say anything. At least we told Commander Qin Ji about the environment inside and some structures of the secret room, but we didn't say anything about what was outside. Ho ho, do you still remember the shock we received when we first came here? It would be better for us to keep a little surprise for Comrade Commander Qin Ji. What do you think, Talon? Laughed Soviet Belarus. Okay. Talon rubbed his face helplessly, so Soviet Belarus clearly wanted to do the whole big job. After a while, Shimofeng, who had a keener sense, immediately felt something was wrong, and then said to Qin Ji, Commander, there is something under the ice. Qin Ji was stunned. Is it an enemy? No, it's more like. Shimekaze paused, as if he couldn't describe it. Boom. There was a huge impact sound not far away, as if some huge object was violently hitting the ice below. All eyes on the command ship were looking in the direction of the sound. Even Belfast was already standing in front of Qin Ji, ready to protect his safety at any time. Suddenly, a crack appeared in the ice in front of him, and a huge dark object quickly floated up from the ice. The huge shape and the special structure made Qin Ji instantly think of the famous nuclear submarine in his own world, the god of the North Wind. Ha ha ha, Comrade Commander Qin Ji, who can remain calm even in a hail of bullets, was also shocked after seeing this. Right, Soviet Belarus looked at the somewhat shocked Qin Ji and said with a smile. Qin Ji smiled and turned his head. There are indeed some. I didn't expect that the Northern Alliance would have such a big guy. The scene in front of you includes the roar of machines, the cracking of ice, the surging of waves, and various sounds mixed with each other. Along with the violent vibrations, it gives people the illusion that they are looking into the eyes of some kind of giant beast. Haha, this thing is called an ice-breaking submarine. It is used to break the ice on the sea during the cold season so that our battle can continue. Otherwise, when it is cold, we can only watch and we will not be able to give full play to our abilities. But the reason why we are showing this now is because the secret room is underwater, and we have to rely on her for the rest of the journey, Soviet Belarus said. It's interesting. Compared to a submarine, I think she looks very much like a strategic nuclear submarine studied by Rosia in the world I was in before. The same dark color, the same huge hull, and the same action of breaking through the ice. It's really I miss it a bit. Qin Ji looked at the giant beast floating in the water in front of him and smiled. The strategic nuclear submarine studied by Rosia, Soviet Belarus was obviously confused. Yes, in my world, the so-called Unbreakable Alliance, or the Northern Union, became fragmented in the end due to various reasons. It was divided into the Rosia region, the Belarus region, etc., and the strategic nuclear submarine North Wind. The god is the trump card in the Rosia region. Huge nuclear submarines are equipped with nuclear weapons that can destroy a large country, and are used to threaten and launch a second nuclear counterattack. Qin Ji said. Is the Unbreakable Alliance actually broken? Obviously, Soviet Belarus focused on this. What an unimaginable ending. There is nothing unimaginable. Human minds are not as simple as yours. The so-called alliance is just a combination of interests. If the existence of the alliance can protect their own interests, then everyone will form this unbreakable alliance. but if the existence of the alliance hinders their own interests, then someone will want to break it up. Qin Ji said. Perhaps you are right, but that is only the world of Comrade Qin Ji, and in this world, the unbreakable alliance of the Northern Alliance will never be broken. We will give our lives to firmly protect it. Soviet Belarus said loudly. Qin Ji smiled and nodded. I believe you, so we should set off, right? That's right, the journey to the secret room really begins now. Soviet Belarus came back to his senses and said with a smile. The transfer from the command ship to the ice-breaking submarine was smooth. All the ship girls, including Qin Ji, were also very interested in this huge submarine of the Northern Alliance. During the journey, they visited it under the leadership of the Northern Alliance ship girls. Got up. Qin Ji was naturally no exception, and Soviet Belarus had been following him, introducing the structure inside the submarine while asking about the unbreakable alliance in his world. After a period of sailing, Kirov, who was controlling the icebreaker, sent a message, everyone, we have arrived at our destination. Arrived at the destination? Will we switch to a small submarine for investigation next? Qin Ji asked. No need to bother, we can just leave the warehouse, Soviet Belarus said with a smile. No, it should be underwater now. If you leave the warehouse directly, someone will die, New Jersey said doubtfully. No, to be precise, this is a unique space under the water, similar to the Mirror Sea. The explanation is a bit complicated. You can tell it when you go out and take a look, Talon said to New Jersey. The Mirror Sea area under the water is interesting, Musashi and others said with interest. So under the leadership of Su Belarus, everyone walked out of the hatch and officially entered the so-called secret room of the Northern Alliance. Comrade Commander Qin Ji, welcome to officially enter the secret room of the Northern Alliance. Accompanied by the voice of Soviet Belarus, after Qin Ji walked out of the hatch, the expected water pressure did not appear, but what appeared in his field of vision was a vast space. Looking down at the feet, there is a layer of calm sea water. Looking at the part above the head that should have belonged to the sky, it is now also occupied by sea water. Coupled with the large number of neatly cut icebergs floating quietly on the sea and two huge strips that rotate upwards and directly into the water above, the entire space is filled with an unreal dream-like feeling. So is this the secret room? It's really eye-opening, Qin Ji said in shock. Everything under the water reminded him of the Crystal Palace in Journey to the West. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 854. The icebergs here are really spectacular. The floating icebergs alone feel like they are hundreds of meters high, Qin Ji said while following the footsteps of Soviet Belarus and looking at the surrounding scenery. According to measurements, the height of the icebergs located on the sea surface of the secret chamber ranges from 50 meters to 200 meters, and their surfaces are all flat and smooth. The underwater structure of such a large part of the iceberg exposed on the water is theoretically larger, but according to it is speculated that the iceberg here does not have much underwater structure, and it is more like being fixed on the water than floating, Talon explained. Interesting. So are these icebergs also part of the mechanism of the Mirror Sea? Bismarck couldn't help but nodded. Not only that, some siren defense modules are periodically produced in the Mirror Sea area here. Although the models are old and have poor combat effectiveness, they cannot be ignored. Hong Liang turned his head and said. Magi narrowed his eyes. After the siren tide ends, will siren defense modules still be produced in the Mirror Sea here? Yes. The environment here seems to be unaffected by the outside world. According to the order, we will come regularly to clean up the enemy, so there will often be icebergs that have been hit by artillery fire and become pitted. But when we come next time, those icebergs will it's completely back to normal, Hong Liang said. New Jersey looked at the ice cubes next to him. Will these ice cubes repair themselves? Yes, it's very powerful. So we have done a lot of experiments. If it is ordinary fragmentation, the fragmented parts will recondensate. If it is blown into pieces, the fragmented parts will sink underwater, and then in a period of time after a while, another identical iceberg will rise from the water, Murmansk said. It is an interesting mirror sea area. Could it be said that when designing this mirror sea area, the designer intended to maintain the original appearance of this mirror sea area? Even if someone destroys the facilities in the mirror sea area, the mirror sea area will also repair itself through the self-repair system. Repair it. Bismarck nodded and said, among this group of people, she should have the deepest understanding of the mirror sea. I don't know, but I must have such a plan, Kirov said. After all, the Siren mirror sea areas we have encountered can be roughly divided into two categories. One is the arsenal for making chess pieces and mass production. The other type is an experimental field with various exaggerated equipment. This is the only place where there is the Northern Alliance. Perhaps the entire mirror sea area first discovered by humans is different from them. We have conducted long-term research here, recovered all the retrievable data, and analyzed all the samples that can be analyzed, but we still do not understand the purpose of this mirror sea area, which is hidden under the water and only repairs the natural landscape. So in the end we have a guess, Commander Chin-Ji. Could it be that the mirror sea was not originally a weapon used to attack, but some kind of prop used to hide and avoid? Chin-Ji turned his attention to Phi Long at this time. As the prototype ship, she was the one who had the most say in all this because she had experienced that era. Phi Long nodded and shook his head. The mirror sea area was originally opened up for the purpose of conducting some secret research. The main emphasis is on concealment. It will not be illuminated by satellites or penetrated by electromagnetic waves, which blocks contact with the outside world and is a high-tech hidden place. Of course, the mirror sea area was widely used in the hands of Antix, which is the mirror sea area that you can often see now. So, is this mirror sea just a technological device with concealment and portability? Chin-Ji asked. Oh, you are imagining this mirror sea area too simply. I think you can keep this doubt. When you get inside, you will know where it is, Phi Long said. Do you know this mirror sea area? Soviet Belarus looked at Phi Long in surprise. Phi Long was non-committal, but didn't answer either. Chin-Ji instantly understood something. At this moment, Musashi frowned. Everyone, it seems that someone has come to greet us. Yeah, but it doesn't matter, New Jersey laughed. Sure enough, not long after, a message came from the thunder in the distance. Attention, the Siren defense fleet has appeared. The people from the Northern Alliance were stunned, and Murmansk complained a little. Really, it was obviously just cleaned up not long ago. Soviet Belarus looked at Musashi and others in surprise. Among the people here, they were the first to notice the Siren's appearance, right? After all, after saying those words, it wasn't long before Lei Ming sent the message. Is this the strength of a legendary ship girl at sea? At this time, Chin-Ji said to his ship girl, who are you planning to take action? Musashi smiled and said, Commander, just leave this matter to me. It has been so long since I was summoned, and I haven't taken action yet. Well, yes, then I'll leave it to you this time, but next time it will be me, New Jersey said with a smile. Ha, with such a long distance, your battleship must have an advantage, Kronstadt shrugged. Then leave it to Musashi. Thank you for your hard work. This last sentence was obviously what Chin-Ji said to Musashi. Musashi took a step forward, gently spread her hands, and then blue light surrounded her body. When the light dissipated, a huge ship suit appeared beside her, and your long knife floated beside her, which looked very fantastic. Although Chin-Ji has seen Musashi's ship uniform more than once, there is still a very impressive feeling every time it is unfolded. As the ship suit unfolded, Musashi gently raised her hand, and the long sword was immediately pulled out of its sheath and fell into her hand. In an instant, purple lightning danced on the blade of the long knife, and a huge shadow suddenly appeared behind her, and the shadow also held a long knife in its hand. The time has come, the tranquil sea is thundering. Musashi, who was holding a long sword, raised the sword high and then brought the sword down. The shadow behind her was doing the same thing as her. When the two knives, one virtual and one real, fell at the same time, the mirror sea area shrouded in sea water seemed to have a thunderous thunderbolt. Countless purple lightnings were seen falling from a distance, constantly hitting the mass-produced siren models that appeared. Until the moment when the thunder and lightning stopped, the defensive fleet that had just appeared on the sea had been completely wiped out. Immediately, Lei Ming's shocked voice came from the communicator. Report, just after passing through the sea area, a burst of purple lightning suddenly appeared, and all the mass-produced sirens on the sea were wiped out. Such a voice made the shocked Soviet Belarus react, and then quickly replied, "Don't panic, that's our attack. Check the status of the siren ships around you, and then continue to explore the path." Yes.